Welcome back to yet another video. Today we're doing something a bit different for this channel. We're gonna take a look at last week's video where I played super dead, saturated, muffled drums for 5 minutes. And so today we're taking a look at how I set things up in the studio, so in the drum booth, which mics I used and how I put them up, but also how I choose to mix this in Logic. Då kör vi. Okay, so this is what's going on in the drum booth. I got two kick drum mics, one Sennheiser E902, like a standard type of kick drum mic, and then I've got the Aston Stealth in what they're calling like the ribbon type EQ curve characteristic. Yeah, and then moving on, that's a 20-inch kick drum with a cutout EMAD. So just a big hole and lots of stuff in there. Moving on to the toms with a 12 and a 14 today. And you know, we're using the age-old kitchen towel trick for this super dead sound. And I'm just using these guys to keep them from moving. And on the rack tom, I've got the Shure Beta 98 and the trusty old MD421 on the floor tom. Then if we move over here, I got the Shure 181 for the hi-hats. And this is an amazing hi-hat by Meinl. 15-inch. Yes, thin. But for this situation, I actually went ahead and just put some ugly green tape on it. I've got some on the inside as well as on the bottom. And moving on to the snare, this is a mic that I wanted to try on the snare for a while. And we've had this as the hi-hat mic earlier, but this is the Beyerdynamic M201. And this is a Starphonic 14x6 snare drum. It's a limited edition Cherry, I believe. So just with the camera audio, it sounds like this. Like the floor tom. And then of course you can't forget the amazing Royer, but I don't think I'm actually gonna use it as much, because for this sound I don't really want to bring out so much of the room. It's supposed to be a dead sound, but we got it set up here, so might as well just record it since it's up here. So yeah, a really dead, low-pitched sound. And let's just move into the control room again and see what's going on there. Okay, so that's everything in the drum room. And a quick but important side note here. Since we're putting stuff on the drums, whether it be kitchen towels or, you know, pieces of paper or whatever, used drum heads, it doesn't matter. We are getting a loss of volume. We're dampening the drums and we're cutting out a lot of volume from the drums. So to make up for this, we need to turn up the mic pre's on our interface. And Jake Reed has an amazing video about this, so check that out if you haven't already. And he goes more into depth about playing at an appropriate volume on the drums to get the most out of this sound. Check that out. So anyway, let's dive into Logic and see what's going on here. Alright, so this is the project itself. I've got some tracks with just percussion going on. This is the Klevgren Skaka with an egg tambourine and some other stuff going on. Got some 808 claps going on, and then I just really typed in some bongos. So that's going on in the background, but now let's just listen to the drums. Yeah, so I'm not gonna go through like every channel and everything that I've done here, but honestly, I didn't do that much to each individual channel. You know, just standard EQ and compression. I'm slamming pretty much the snare top with an 1176. That's without. Yeah, so that's with. Also doing, you know, just a little boost at the low end, at the high end, and then I just scooped some stuff with the normal channel EQ in Logic. I really like the hi-hat. And I just also used an EQ here, scoop some things out and push a little bit of high in there. And now I didn't actually use, as I expected, I didn't use the room mic. But this is kind of what I would do normally. Also just hit it with a nice EQ, some lows and good stuff, and then just crank an 1176 to squash the drums. You know, it doesn't have to be the 1176. You can use like the Wolf compressor or any compressor, or limiter, just mash the shit out of it. And then you can also, per taste, use some saturation plugin of some sort. Anyways, I didn't use it for this mix in the end. And then for the toms, I actually only did some very light EQ. I thought that the compression that I added, like on a bus level, was enough. So I just did some very, very simple EQ stuff where I boosted the nice stuff, cut out the weird stuff. Yeah, and I like it there. All right, so let's take a look at the drum bus itself. So I got some things going on here. First of all, I've got this Hitsville EQ, and I really like how this is just adding some nice punch to the drums on this drum bus. Yeah, really liking that. And then I'm using this SSL bus compressor. Yeah, and I really think that just glues the sound together. Okay, so the next thing in this chain is that I just acquired the Safari pedals bundle, and this is where some crazy stuff starts to happen. So this is without. And let's do it with. Yeah, and I think this sounds cool. You know, I started with one of their presets and then just started pushing random buttons until I found something that I liked. Yeah, I tried the zebra clipper, but I thought that maybe I'm going a bit overboard, adding this as well. Actually, I kind of like what it's doing, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna bring down the blend a bit more. Just something like that. Yeah, that's cool. So I'm not adding a bunch of reverb to this because it's supposed to be a dead sound, but I also kind of like, in most cases, I would use like one short reverb and one longer reverb just to get a fuller, like small room sound. We can just listen to it without any reverb at all. And then with like a short, tight reverb. Yeah, so I'm using this Capital Chambers, a very short and dark room sound, small room. And just very, very slightly bringing that into the mix. That's with. That's without. Yeah, I like it just to add some sort of dimension even to these very, very dead drums. All right, so for the final thing, we're just going to look at what's going on the main output of this. And once again, I've got an EQ going. Actually, I started using this in the latest Logic update. Just another EQ curve. I'm not using this as much. Just kind of, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't like it. But it's nice just to have like some sort of AI looking at your mix and like, do you really want to make it this extreme in this direction? And this can be like kind of a guide to reel you back in. So sometimes I might use it, sometimes I might not. I think I liked it this time, what it was doing. And then another Safari pedals thing, the rabbit tape. And I really liked what this did to the whole project. So it just adds a lot of energy, I would say. Yeah, cool stuff from Safari pedals. And then just to top it off, a limiter to put it like up to a really nice volume. And that's that for this video. I hope you found this somewhat informative and that you learned something new today. I realize that this is not a sound that's maybe applicable to every song that you're ever gonna play, but I feel it's a nice trick and tool to have in your tool belt. And it's important to keep developing as a musician and finding new ways and new sounds that you then can bring to the table if an artist or band asks for it. coola bananer. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe and that good stuff. Leave a comment if you so desire. I'll see you